of your home. Keep kids and pets in or out of your yard. Increase security and add value to your property. Visit empire-fence.com now to view the stylish and maintenance-free possibilities for your home and get a free instant online quote. Let Empire Fence protect your empire.
Rain, snow, or shine, John Henry's is here to keep your home's plumbing systems working properly no matter what kind of weather Nebraska throws at us. From unclogging toilets and drains to installing new water heaters and water treatment systems, John Henry's is your plumbing expert in the Lincoln and Omaha communities. Visit us at calljh.com or call
John Henry's.
435-5555. John Henry's Plumbing, Heating and Air,
and Electrical.
Integrated Life Choices has been inspiring opportunities for individuals with disabilities for more than 15 years in Lincoln and across Nebraska by offering a number of services. From group homes to independent living resources and job training, you'll find the support that allows people to live fulfilling lives. They're also hiring. If you're looking for a rewarding career supporting people with developmental disabilities, you can check out open positions along with learning more about services at ilc.net. Integrated Life Choices.
Rico here with HIS Auto Care at 70th and Van Dorn, letting you know HIS is a great place to bring your vehicle for service. With superior service bumper to bumper, we'll treat your vehicle like it's your mother's. Doesn't get any better than that. So call 402-488-8934 and HIS Auto will make you glad you did. 5% off, mention this ad, and for sure your mother will be proud you called. 402-488-8934, HIS Auto Care, 70th and Van Dorn. God bless you.
Sandhills Global is hiring. With their fast-paced, growing culture, they have hundreds of new openings in sales, marketing, traveling support, software development, web design, and more. Full-time roles offer a 4.5-day work week, along with flexible internships in most areas. Career and internship opportunities are available at our global headquarters in Lincoln, Nebraska. Find your fit today at www.sandhills.jobs.
This is the Happy Hour.
You guys going to happy hour?
Coming at you live from the heart of Lincoln, America.
Yeah, I'll come for a couple.
Here are your hosts, Nick Sainert.
I want to know what it's like to commit a crime without having to spend time in jail.
And Enrique Alvarez Clary.
C is for chunk.
Brought to you by Empire Fence and Netting on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Welcome in. Happy Monday. This is the Happy Hour, 93.7 The Ticket, theticketfm.com. Nick Sainert with you as usual. Rico is out today. That means Austin Orman is sitting alongside me. Austin, what's up, man?
You know what's up.
Hey,
today's
a celebration.
Incredible day.
Today's a celebration. If you're listening on the video stream, the Starter Heyman Jewelers video stream, that is, you know why it may be an incredible day for Royals fans, and it's because they have signed one of their young star, Bobby Witt Jr., to a very long contract. We're going to talk about that in the second segment here in about 20 minutes or so. But first, as always, 402-464-5685, the Honda of Lincoln hotline and the Starter Heyman text line are open for you guys the entire show today, as well as the Starter Heyman Jewelers live video stream, Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, and Allo Channel 961, the place to go for that one. We got a new camera. I'm about to show it on the video stream. It's this overhead one.
Hello.
So we've had this one for quite a while, right? It hasn't always been it's worked, just not to the quality that we wanted it to work to. Well, now it is. Here we are. So you can see we got the overhead camera going on from the start. So we're going to have a little bit of fun with that one later today. I mean, look at it. It looks pretty good on that too. Look at us.
Hey, look at us.
It actually doesn't look too
Hi,
bad.
Mom.
So there you go. Anyway, so once again, the Starter Heyman Jewelers live video stream is open for you guys on all of those platforms. I think we got to start with the elephant in the room, and that is Nebraska men's basketball. It's obviously been dissected on various programs today, and rightfully so. But Austin, this was one where unfortunately you were gone last week towards the later part of the week. So we haven't been able to get your thoughts on not only just Wisconsin, but now especially Illinois. I was making the correlation with like the game that Nebraska beat Purdue, right? Obviously a very emotional victory. And it was in a little more convincing fashion than the one against Wisconsin. But they then turned around and we've discussed quite a bit throughout the season in different scenarios and compared how this team has responded, whether it's to a blowout loss to Creighton or whether it's to a emotional win like it was against Purdue. Well, they has responded to the Purdue one by unfortunately dropping the one against Iowa and Rutgers. Now, here they are after the emotional victory against Wisconsin. They same time frame, 2 days off, and then they play on the third day. Same time frame as before. They have a much more respectable performance last night. And now in 2 days on Wednesday evening, it's Northwestern and Evanston.
Huge stretch. This is probably the toughest stretch of the season for the team between Wisconsin, Illinois, and then Northwestern. You got Wisconsin at home. Huge. Had to have it. And you found a way to do it. Didn't look good. Didn't look pretty in the first half. But it's a huge testament to that team and the resilience, the resolve for finding that next gear that it needed to come back. It forced turnovers. It hit the shots it needed to. And then I think you were in one of two camps. Either, hey, this is the game that Nebraska needs to kind of get over that hump. A big comeback, an emotional victory. They'll play better on the road. Or you were in, hey, we just had a big home win, so how does it all come tumbling down?
Yeah.
I can understand both camps. I thought Illinois was going to be probably the toughest matchup left for Nebraska. What Hawkins is able to do with his athleticism and stretching the floor, but also protecting the rim. Terrence Shannon Jr. can get downhill with the best of them in the country.
NBA type of guy.
Oh, absolutely. Lottery pick type of guy. Domask transferring from, I think, Southern Illinois is where he's from. Really steady, really solid. We know Dane Danger is a problem down low. He's been a load for Nebraska in years past. Quincy Guerrier would be the best player on a lot of teams in the Big Ten. He's the fourth option at Illinois. I was not confident about how this game would go.
Yeah.
Huge credit to Nebraska for trading punches early. That was a back and forth game in the early going. Took the lead, extended it to, I think, 7 at one point. And then the wheels kind of fell off. Casey's heat check from beyond the coach's box, I think, threw a bit of a wrench into things. I think that's a shot that you're more okay with Casey taking because he's Casey, but at the same time, make the next right play. Extend the lead from 7 to 9 or 7 to 10 with a better shot. I think that gave Illinois a bit of a chance to, keep the door cracked open. You still lead at halftime. You give up the run to start the second half. Nick, I thought it was over when Nebraska got down 10 at the U4.
Bingo.
I thought that was lights.
Yeah. Well, and it felt like Illinois was just a 3-point shot away from hitting the dagger. Right. I think Terrence Shannon shot one from the right wing. And I was like, man, I remember thinking you could tell as the play was developing or as the isolation was developing, like, all right, TSJ is going to try to pop one here, and that'll be the dagger. And he ended up shooting it, and he missed it. And I was like, all right, well, here we go. And you're talking about these swings. Back to that Casey decision. Now, I've mentioned it a couple of times today. It's easy to do it when Nebraska loses by just basically one possession in this case. I don't enjoy, although it's accurate and applicable. I don't enjoy playing the referee card. So I'm trying to go back and look at, okay, what decisions were made to cost Nebraska a potential run, right? To kind of halt a run, to either start a run or continue one for Nebraska, whichever way it works. And that's one of the biggest ones, I think, even though it was early on, it was avoidable. Because if you look at the grand scope, or just the grand scope being the last week and a half for Keisei Tominaga, it's been a really disappointing stretch. Here he is, and like his confidence is nothing that Nebraska should want to take away from him. The green light should be nothing that Nebraska wants to take away from him. However, in that case, against a program like that, against Illinois, who's a top 15 team, it's one of those things where you started out hot, not only just Keisei, but as a team. You were getting stops defensively. The crowd was out of it. You were on fire, Keisei Tominaga. Don't get it twisted.
15 on 4 or 5 early on.
Yes. However, pulling up from the State Farm logo is not what you want to do. because then not only just does a miss invigorate the fan base and the students sitting right by the court, but it also allows Illinois to get a fast break bucket.
Mm-hmm.
They get them in transition. And we just talked about it. They have a guy in Coleman Hawkins who's more athletic than a lot of the guys on Nebraska's roster. He's bigger and he can handle the ball extremely well. He then somebody hits a three. I can't remember who hits the three on the other end for Illinois. They draw the defenders, they kick it out, and they hit a three. Well, I'm sitting there going, man, that's a 6-point swing. The crowd's back into it. You just allowed Illinois to not only get a stop, but it was also so early in the shot clock.
It was one pass in.
It felt like Nebraska at the start, and this is to their credit. It felt like Nebraska was patient at the start. Their ball movement was crisp. They were moving quickly. They were actually getting bodies. Strick, you and I always talk about that at the top of the key around the perimeter. They were getting bodies on guys. And it's like, man, that just felt like it killed all momentum when Nebraska needed it. That's the stuff that killed them against Maryland, along with the turnovers.
You mentioned Terrence Shannon Jr. going for that kill shot at the end, right?
Yeah.
Up 10, trying to push it to 13. I think K-State pressed that same button in the same mode.
I get it, but you got to know the time of the game.
Right. Understand that being up 7 points on the number 14 team in the country means nothing at home on the road with your road resume. If he's 2 steps closer, you're okay with that shot. But the fact that he was those 2 steps further back, it wasn't fully in rhythm, just makes what happened afterwards even worse. There are 2 other shots that I think could have swung things for Nebraska. Juwan Gary at the end of regulation, if he gets that layup to fall, I'm not so sure Nebraska doesn't win that in regulation.
But that the active hands on defense for Juwan Gary is something that's not being talked about enough.
Josiah Alec guarding that and then getting it to Gary was absolutely huge. So there's that. And then Rinkmast's missed hook from the right, you turn over his left shoulder, right hand hook shot over Terrence Shannon Jr.
Yes.
Would have given Nebraska the lead back. They would have gone up by 1. Instead, Illinois goes up by 3. They get a bucket the next possession. You're like, okay, now you have to find a way to make it up. That's a shot Rinkmast hits a lot of the time. He struggled on the interior yesterday. Really good from range, but on the interior, I'm not surprised he struggled against a big physical player in Danger and an athletic guy in Hawkins who has good timing and can alter shots more so than anything Rinkmast can face in practice. So if Nebraska hits one of those shots, things might be different. They hit 2 of them. I feel really good about Nebraska winning that game.
I mean, and now I suppose we can have this conversation regarding the officials, because it was disappointing, right? And this is a Big Ten issue. That's what my thought process is on all of this. This is not Nebraska got jobbed. That's not the mentality I'm going into today with. My thought process is the Big Ten has an issue with refereeing every game. If you watch Wisconsin-Purdue, there were some questionable calls towards the end, especially one on Chucky Hepburn.
Yeah.
If you watch Nebraska and Illinois, even if you go back to last Thursday against Nebraska-Wisconsin, and Nebraska, I believe, didn't get a foul called them up until about 14 minutes into the second half, I think. They didn't get a foul called them. There were ones yesterday where Nebraska didn't get whistled, but should have been. Like, I don't know if it was just the land of makeup calls yesterday, because it really felt like the ones that weren't being called should have been, and the ones that were kind of, oh, I should have called that last one. I need to call this one.
You know what that is? It's Underwood's technical in the first half.
You're absolutely right.
That's good coaching. To give the other team 2 free points, but get your point across.
Yeah.
That's good coaching.
You saw the time of game.
The time of the game.
The time of the game, you're super early.
You can do it in the first half. You can get away with it. Brad Underwood understood that. And he got in the ref's head. He absolutely did, right? Nebraska missed enough opportunities that the refs, to me, are not the story of the game.
Yeah.
But it's the calls in key moments. Like the foul on Wilcher Hoiberg at the end when Domask is going up to shoot it. That's a foul.
That was on Wilcher,
Yeah, you bodied him. You hit his left arm. Okay, that's a foul. You're lucky he split him.
I will say this about that specific shot. I'm not a fan of calling it in that moment.
It's a foul. It's absolutely a foul. That's always going to be a foul. Here's the thing. I just had that same thing happen for Duke against Clemson.
Yeah.
Last week. They go down. Clemson goes down, takes the lead. Tyrese Proctor gets into the lane, gets bumped. Here's the thing. It's a foul, especially in that environment with the way the rest of the game's been called. That's a foul.
You're right. Yes.
You can't expect that to not be a foul, even if you don't want it to be. The foul that I think is more frustrating to me than any of them was the jump ball call, the non-jump ball.
I would 100% agree.
The only reason there was contact to the arm was because the Illinois guy was swinging his arms. Hoiberg got a hand on both sides of the ball. Domask is swinging his arms, and that's where the arm-to-arm contact comes in. You can look at the one at the very end of the game, Rink Mast and his decision not to shoot it. I don't want to get too much into that because Strick and I are going to talk about that tomorrow for Teach Tape Tuesday.
I think that one falls actually more on Casey.
That's fair, and that's why I want to talk to Strick about that.
I'll let you guys have that one.
But even besides that, I think there are a couple key missed travels. You pointed out the one with Domask pushing his pivot feet 4 or 5 different times. I think Hawkins had a bucket or two that looked like he took an extra step, depending on where you judge the gather to be. But then, even despite all of that, you get the perfect trap at the very end of the game with Lawrence and Jeff Grace, and the ball just trickles away.
Yeah. And it wasn't a lack of effort.
No.
Like that's what I came away from yesterday's game, kept continuing to tell myself, was that it wasn't a lack of effort that Nebraska lost. It was honestly just the ball bounced away from them in that situation, or rolled away from him in that situation. And despite it all, and I know this is going to sound like me trying to, justify the loss or count a moral victory. That's not what I'm trying to do. But through getting out rebounded, through probably poor officiating on both ends, but poor officiating. And frankly, your most consistent guy as of late, CJ Wilcher, scoring 2 points on 1 of 6, and Bryce Williams shooting 3 of 12. There were a couple bright spots, and you found yourself in it towards the end. So, yes, we can spin it and say, well, listen, Nebraska on Wednesday, what do they have to do against Northwestern? The same thing that they did against Illinois. Rebound better. You need CJ to probably have a little more impact, and you need Bryce to have a little more impact. Well, it's not that easy, I think. Nebraska, now I will say, 14 of 14 from the line is something you can hang your hat on. That's certainly something that you want to kind of keep in your back pocket and say, yeah, we're a good free throw shooting team now. Nebraska unfortunately gets the loss, and they do move a couple spots in the net. But man, you think about some of the missed opportunities, and you're saying, dang, we could have really made some ground in potential NCAA tournament projections.
You absolutely could have. And I'm glad you brought those numbers up. I'm trying to find exactly how much Nebraska moved. But I think I saw a tweet last night that not just in the net, but in other ratings as well. Essentially, this loss to Illinois moves you up as much as the win over Wisconsin. Now, here's the thing. It's a loss. You don't get the quad one opportunity. It would have been incredible the way that game played out for Nebraska to find a way to crawl back from down 10 with 3.5 minutes to go and win the game, because it's a wins and losses business, right? Wins and losses have to matter the most at the end of the day. But Nebraska already has 2 better wins than anyone in a similar position to it on the bubble, right? Nebraska's not going to be off the bubble. They're still going to be in that 9 to 11 seed range in discussion. But Nebraska already has 2 feathers in its cap, which makes it stings that you couldn't add a third. But also, you had a better performance last night in the loss, according to the computers that the committee relies on, than other teams did in wins.
So how about this? This all comes from WarrenNolan.com. And it's Nebraska's ranking by week in multiple polls, right? So the net and the RPI are what we're most concerned about. In the first net poll this week, which was in week 5 of the season, Nebraska debuted at 76th in the net and 118th in the RPI. Then Nebraska is currently 52nd in the net and 34th in the RPI. So you want to talk about some massive jumps. Your rankings by week in the net were 76th and then 68th, and then you make a big jump to 51st. Then you stay steady around the 55 mark. Then you go back under 60. Then you go back to 55th, 53rd, 56th, 60th, up until this week you jump up 8 spots total after the win against Wisconsin and the loss against Illinois to go up to 52nd. And the RPI, you actually jump 9 spots after this last week when you jump from 43rd to 34th. So this is kind of what we're discussing. And another, like a good program to kind of like compare them to. I don't know if Ohio State's necessarily a good program to compare them to, but Nebraska is currently 10-0 in quad 3 and quad 4 games. They are 6-7 in quad 1 and quad 2 matchups, where a team like Ohio State, they are, how about this? 1-9 in quad 1 and quad 2 games, but 12-0 in quad 3 and quad 4 matchups. And for that reason, they are all the way back at 97th in RPI and close to 70th in the net. Still a couple games above 500, but get this, they've also lost 15 straight on the road. They've lost their last 4 games altogether, and it doesn't get any easier for the Buckeyes. No. Because before the Buckeyes play Nebraska, and this goes into another point that I was making, then I got tweeted out about it, and that's fine. But I mentioned something on early break this morning with Sip that Northwestern is Nebraska's last chance for a true resume builder. And what I mean by that is, yeah, Northwestern's going to be a quad 1 win. Or quad 1 matchup. They're probably going to finish the season also at a quad 1 matchup. Where Ohio State currently, according to the current rankings, are 68th in the net, which when you're playing them on the road counts as a quad 1 ball game. However, Ohio State has to, and this is what they have to go through. After losing their last 4, with a streak that started back here in Lincoln back on January 23rd, they have to travel to, Wisconsin and Michigan State and Minnesota, which are all, Minnesota and Michigan State are right in the middle of it all. Obviously, we know what Wisconsin's like. They have to play Purdue at home. They have to play Maryland, who's probably a little bit better of a team than they are at home. Then they have to travel to Piscataway as well. That's not going to be a true resume builder, right? So when you look at Nebraska's remaining schedule, after Northwestern on Wednesday, it makes the game against Northwestern just that much more important that you either lose in the fashion that you lost to Illinois or you win. Because after that, it's RPI of Michigan that's 158th or 138th and net ranking of 111th. Or Rutgers, whose net ranking is 104th. Or Minnesota, whose net ranking is 91st and RPI is 144. Indiana is even 103rd in the net. Those are the teams that you play. Those are resume killers, not builders.
I don't know why people were mad at you. You speak nothing but truth. There's another interesting tool I want to go to here really quick. I know we're up against it.
That's fine.
Bart Torvik is a guy that does some more of that analysis, a lot of numbers. Nebraska's resume right now compares very favorable to 2016 Michigan, 2023 Mississippi State, so last year's Bulldogs. You look at 2014 Xavier, 2018 Texas, 2015 Purdue. All those teams made it as an at-large and lost in the first round. Also compares to 2013 Cal and 2009 Maryland, who made it to the round of 32. There have only been 3 teams with Nebraska's resume in the last, 15 years that have missed the tournament. 2014 Florida State, 2018 Marquette, and 2019 TCU. So Nebraska, according to this, is a 70% chance to make the field with its current resume.
And that's the thing is I'm not sitting here saying Nebraska's not making the tournament. If the season were to end today, I would be very confident Nebraska is in. Even if a couple things that are unfavorable happen, I think Nebraska still has a little bit of breathing room. But the turtleneck sweater gets a little tighter around the neck if you don't get the job done on Wednesday.
Correct.
That's all I'm saying, because it applies more pressure to the following games. Just an interesting note. I saw this on Twitter yesterday comparing Gonzaga's resume to Nebraska's. And I don't know if you've seen this, Austin, but I think it's interesting because I believe that maybe the national respect plays a factor, maybe more so than we think or we want to believe. Gonzaga, obviously a team that's, consistently going to the big dance in March. So they are currently 15-6 on the season, close to a similar record as Nebraska, who's 16-7 now. But Gonzaga comes in at 27th in the net. So about 28 spots higher, or excuse me, it'd be about 25 spots higher than Nebraska. I mentioned Nebraska is, 4-7, or no, excuse me,
6-7,
6
in
and
quad
7.
1 and 2.
Yeah, 6-7 in quad 1 and 2. Gonzaga is 3-6 with all three of those wins coming in against quad 2 opponents. They are 12-0 in quad 3 and quad 4 though matchups. Their strength of schedule, because a lot of people would say, well, the strength of schedule is higher. Strength of schedule for Gonzaga, 112th in the country. Not a great resume, but we're seeing it to where they're still 27th in the net because of probably what they've done over the last couple of years. And that is make it to the postseason.
Gonzaga still does have some of that respect. Here's the thing, though. Gonzaga's missing the tournament this year.
Oh, hello.
The only chance Gonzaga has to get back into the tournament is to beat Kentucky, a game coming up, or win the WCC tournament. St. Mary's is the team to beat in the WCC. Gonzaga's not making it.
And St. Mary's beat Gonzaga on the road at Gonzaga just over the weekend.
They started the year off so cold, St. Mary's did.
Yeah.
But I think they're due for their San Diego State run. I've been on that train all year. Gonzaga's not making it. St. Mary's is going to make a deep run. You heard it here first, folks.
All right, there you go. You heard it there first. By the way, Nebraska's quad 1 and 2 victories are these, because these are fluid. They can change, obviously, throughout the season. And obviously Purdue and Wisconsin are 2 of your 3 quad 1 games. And as Dan points out on the text line, Michigan State continues to help Nebraska. They have now moved in as that quad 1 victory for Nebraska as well. So there's your 3 quad 1 wins. Then you have Kansas State, who's a quad 2. Your home game against Northwestern counts as a quad 2. And your home game against Ohio State counts as a quad 2. That's one to kind of keep your eye on, as it could potentially fluctuate down to maybe a quad 3 game. Your losses for quad 1 and quad 2 Wisconsin, Illinois yesterday, Creighton, Iowa, Maryland, Minnesota, and Rutgers. And dang, you sit here and say you would have liked to show up maybe a little bit better against Iowa, and you really probably should have had the Rutgers game.
Yeah, Minnesota.
Minnesota. Those are at least 1 of 3, if not 2 of 3, that you feel like you let slip away. You can't allow that to happen towards this back end.
Because the worst thing to do is play scared, right? And that's kind of what it feels like Nebraska fans are thinking the team is going to be. Not going out there playing to win every game, but playing not to lose all of these bad games that are left on the schedule.
There you go. Good stuff here. 402-464-5685. The Honda Lincoln hotline and the Starter Heyman text line are open for you guys the rest of the way here, as well as the Starter Heyman Jewelers live video stream, Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, or X, and then Allo channel 961 are open for you guys the rest of the way out here. All right, let's go ahead and turn the page. We'll move away from Husker basketball. You're going to get plenty more of that on not only on the crossover here in just a little bit, but also on the block with Strick and Austin. It's time as we approach February. Husker softball starts this weekend. Husker baseball starts in a couple of weeks. It's time to turn the page to some spring sports, as the Kansas City Royals made a blockbuster move. They signed Bobby Witt to an extension. We'll talk all about it. Also, there was a trade in Major League Baseball that kind of went unnoticed. It was quiet over the weekend between the Baltimore Orioles and the Milwaukee Brewers. We'll tell you all about it coming up next. You're listening to the Happy Hour. Shout out to Empire Fence and Netting for their support as always. And we'll be right back on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Garage doors can be expensive. Are you keeping yours in the best condition possible? This is Cameron Hall with Doors Plus. Doors Plus is a locally owned business that prides itself on the fast, reliable, and friendly service. Doors Plus offers flexible scheduling so you can book an appointment that fits your busy day. My team and I will come out to your property, both commercial and residential, and provide you with the necessary information you need to make sure your garage door is in working and smooth condition. Give Doors Plus a call today at 402-590-5800 to book an appointment and learn more about our preventative maintenance plans. Doors Plus, garage doors, and more.
Wall-to-Wall Wine and Spirits is now open in Lincoln. Shop our expansive collection of wine, beer, spirits, and cigars at 5040 North 27th Street. From top-shelf liquor to crowd-favorite beer, Wall-to-Wall Wine and Spirits has a beverage for every taste and every budget. Plus, join our loyalty program to earn rewards and save on future purchases. Shop Wall-to-Wall Wine and Spirits at 5040 North 27th Street in Lincoln. That's 5040 North 27th Street.
Rain, snow, or shine, John Henry's is here to keep your home's plumbing systems working properly no matter what kind of weather Nebraska throws at us. From unclogging toilets and drains to installing new water heaters and water treatment systems, John Henry's is your plumbing expert in the Lincoln and Omaha communities. Visit us at calljh.com or call
John Henry's.
435-5555. John Henry's Plumbing, Heating and Air.
and electrical.
Sandhills Global is hiring. With their fast-paced, growing culture, they have hundreds of new openings in sales, marketing, traveling support, software development, web design, and more. Full-time roles offer a 4.5-day work week, along with flexible internships in most areas. Career and internship opportunities are available at our global headquarters in Lincoln, Nebraska. Find your fit today at www.sandhills.jobs.
At Southeast Community College, community is our middle name. Our continuing education classes offer personal interest, traffic safety and licensing, online learning, and adult education classes across Southeast Nebraska, or online in your own home. Learn to ride a motorcycle, how to start a small business, how to dance, or take a course to advance in your current career path. See the full schedule of continuing education classes online at southeast.edu/continuing. SCC, your path to possible.
Husker fans, it's your last chance to catch your top-ranked Nebraska wrestling team in action at the Bob Devaney Sports Center as they host a top 15 conference matchup on Friday, February 9th against number 13 Michigan. It's their annual Pepsi Pack the House duel, and all tickets and 24-ounce Pepsi products are just $1. The duel starts at 6 p.m. Get your tickets today by visiting huskers.com/tickets or call 402-472-3111. Rosie Sports Bar and Grill. Open for lunch and dinner at 10th and P or at 1501 Center Park Road.
Problem gambling can destroy an individual's finances, relationships, physical, and mental health. If you are a loved one or struggling with addiction, contact Choices Treatment Center's 24-hour helpline at 402-476-2300. That's 402-476-2300.
Where will your path take you, traveler? To seek fortune in a new career? Or on a journey to distant lands for a well-deserved vacation? Wherever you go, one distraction could spell disaster. You can change your fate, adventurer. Don't drive distracted. Paid for by the NDOT Highway Safety Office.
Okay, it's time to sell the house. How do we even begin to choose from the hundreds of realtors in town?
Easy. We make a pros list.
You mean a pros and cons list?
No, just a pros list. We need someone with pro photography to showcase the house in the best possible way, pro marketing to make sure we get maximum exposure, pro negotiations so we know we get the best price.
This is one of those times where you already know the right answer, isn't it?
You know it is. Ben Bleicher and Professional Realty Group.
Contact Ben Bleicher and the team at Professional Realty Group of Berkshire Hathaway's Home Services Ambassador. Online at prg-ne.com.
Golfing in 72 degrees and perfect conditions in Nebraska doesn't seem possible in the winter, but it is. Double Eagle Golf is your escape from the bone-chilling cold outside and a reason to keep your clubs out year-round. Book a bay with some friends for a weekend or come by for golf and happy hour on a weekday. Spring leagues begin in February. Get signed up today. That's all at Double Eagle Golf inside the Kinetic Sports Complex at West O Street. Online at doubleeagle.golf.
Hi, Sean Callahan here for Coppell Chevrolet GMC. And we'd like to say thank you for a record-setting 2023. So let's start off 2024 with the bang. They've got huge trade-in bonuses and finance bonusing happening right now on our new inventory at Coppell. Get up to $8,500 off select new models at Coppell. So if you're shopping for a new GM product, go to our website at coppellcars.com. You won't believe the discounts. Make that short money-saving drive down 144th Street. You'll be glad you did. Must have trade and finance with roof credit. Stock number G207684.
Discover the difference that expertise and experience can make in your real estate journey with Next Ag Appraisal and Realty. Whether you need an appraisal, sales, or farm management, Next Ag comes up with a solution with your legacy and goals in mind. Next Ag isn't just their name, it's your future. So why wait? Visit their website today at www.nextagrealestate.com or give them a call at 402-380-0432 and turn your dreams into reality. Your land, your legacy, their solutions. Next Ag Appraisal and Realty.
You never think cancer will happen to you. I smoked for over 40 years. My doctor recommended that I get annual lung cancer screening. They were able to catch my cancer at stage 1. It's never too late to quit. Even if you're still smoking, you need to ask your doctor about annual lung cancer screening. Just 30 minutes a year could save your life.
Call the Nebraska Tobacco Quit Line, 1-800-QUIT-NOW, 1-800-784-8669. Paid for by Tobacco Free Nebraska. Aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
You're listening to the Happy Hour with Nick Sainert and Enrique Alvarez Clary.
When I gave you the cookie, I heard very clearly, I don't think about you, Schmidt.
Why would I think about you?
Because we're friends. We're not animals.
We're men. The only time a man is allowed to think about another man is when that man is Jay Cutler.
On 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Welcome back into the Happy Hour, 93.7 The Ticket, theticketfm.com. Nick and Austin with you, as we'll have a pretty quick one here. And we're going to turn the page to a little baseball discussion. As Austin, it was an exciting day for you today. It's been an exciting day. It is an exciting day as the Kansas City Royals have announced that they are extending Bobby Witt Jr. It's something we've been clamoring for months. And finally, they get him on an 11-year deal. After those 11 years, they actually have a club option for 3 more.
It is one of the more fascinating deals this side of Julio Rodriguez. That's probably the framework for most intricate, find a creative way to keep both sides happy in terms of deals that I've ever seen. The Bobby Witt Jr. deal it's a 7-year deal with 4 player options. If Bobby Witt Jr. is still on the team after the 7 and the 4, so the 11, like you said, then it's the 3 club options that you went to for $288.7 million for each of the last, I think, 4 or 5 years of that. The last 6 or 7, if you include all the player option years, he's making $35 million per year.
Jeez.
Which is insane. This is essentially in the realm of Fernando Tatis money at this point. The Kansas City Royals just handed out the 14th largest contract in Major League Baseball history. The Kansas City Royals did that.
Yeah, small market team.
Small market team. It's a different day. It's a new day. It's creative. I wasn't sure this day was going to come. I really wasn't. Not that Bobby Witt Jr. is a Boris client, because then he wouldn't have signed this. No way. But Octagon is still a big deal.
Yeah.
But the fact that he signed it now says that he wants to be a part of this organization for the long term.
And that is such a smart move on Bobby Witt's part, because we see this all the time with small market guys, right? And that's what made the Royals run in 2015 so special, was because you had this core group of guys that you knew that deep down, they wanted to all be there.
All grew up together in the minor leagues.
Yes, and they wanted to be there, but they knew financially they couldn't, right?
Well, not the way the Royals did it.
Okay.
Where the Royals messed up was they didn't extend any of those players
throughout the process.
Right.
Yeah.
Not a one of them.
Yeah.
So all their contracts ran out at the same time, and it would have been a boatload of money to bring them all back at once, which is where you look at, I think the Rays are the easy model, right? For selling high on guys. Once they, think they've turned a corner, they ship them out. But really the Braves, what the Braves did in drafting the bulk of their current core was very similar to what the Royals did across their run, but the Braves basically extended a player each year.
Yeah.
And then when they couldn't extend Freddie Freeman, they went out and they signed Matt Olson.
Yeah.
The Royals have never done that. They haven't been that creative. They haven't been that forward thinking. It's always been fan service. Oh, they just want to see these guys. And, oh, sorry, we couldn't maximize and we tried. They didn't want to sign with us. This is forward thinking. It's creative. And now, is Vinny Pasquantino next? Do you start talking with Cole Reagans if he starts the season hot? This gets the ball rolling for the Royals in a way that honestly hasn't been done before. The previous largest contract they'd given out, Salvador Perez, 4 years, $82 million.
This one, 11 years, $288.
With the potential to go to 14, $377.
Jeez.
You're signing a dude to a contract basically 5 times larger than the previous high for your small market team. It's a big deal. It is a monumental day for this organization.
It is. It is. And I mean, it gives potential hope for the future when your farm system's not in great shape.
You and I were talking about the top 100 prospect list that came out. Not a one of them has a single Royal.
No. And so that's what the future might look a little dim, but there's a little bit of a light being shined in there now in the tunnel because you re-signed Bobby Witt, who's been in the league just a few years now.
Just 2.
Has lived up to every expectation that he's been here. And they've drafted okay. They've been a little hesitant, or not hesitant, but just interesting in the draft where they've picked under slot value to save money, maybe draft a little higher up, or a little above slot value in like the second and third round.
When they do get the big name guys, they go get Asa Lacy and Gavin Cross.
Exactly. Nobody.
Yeah.
Asa Lacy from A&M.
He was going to go 1-1 before the year. He slipped to 4. The Royals like, hey, now we have to take it.
I get Asa Lacy and AJ Puck messed up.
Yep.
AJ Puck from Florida. I get those two crossed up every now and then. Okay, so then last but not least in baseball, the Milwaukee Brewers, I believe this was on Friday, maybe Thursday, late last week, made a trade involving former Cy Young Award winner Corbin Burns. Corbin Burns going to the Baltimore Orioles. That if you've listened to the Happy Hour at all over the last like 2 years, big Orioles guys, pro Orioles show because of not only Adley Rutschman, love Adley Rutschman. Number 2, simply because they pay, or their payroll is like second lowest in the league, and they have a championship window. They are in the middle of a championship window right now, and now they add a dominant arm. They are adding a dominant arm in Corbin Burns. And then from my point of view and perspective as a Cubs fan, I love seeing the Brewers somewhat have to trade everybody away. And their manager's gone.
After they lose their manager.
Bingo. Because the Cubs decided to pay so much money for Craig Counsell.
You are responsible for breaking up the Brewers.
Craig
Job
Counsell,
well done.
Craig Counsell, but then the Cubs, mind you, after the whole Shohei Ohtani thing, and this tells me that they were firmly in for Shohei. They have not made a single move outside of offering Shohei. They had all their attention to Shohei Ohtani. Then the Dodgers come in and they get this, just asinine amount of money given to him.
Eventually.
And after he fools that he's going to the Blue Jays, it's just ridiculous. It is insane. And then you defer all the money. It's just, once again, that is something super cool about Major League Baseball. Not only with the draft, because it's unique, but also the way they can structure contracts.
Yes.
It makes it really, really fascinating to see how creative teams can be, because like we just kind of talked about, that can separate you from maybe a team that can contend for a World Series in 6 to 7 years, or one that has a 4-year window, but then after that, you're rebuilding for the next 5.
The reason I think that we didn't talk as much about this Corbin Burns deal is because he hasn't signed a new contract yet. He's playing out this last year. If I'm Baltimore, I'm looking to extend him immediately.
Absolutely.
Never forget why he got so fed up with Milwaukee in the first place. $740,000. Brewers wanted to pay $10.01 million. Burns wanted $10.75. Milwaukee made him mad. He wanted out. Still pitched pretty well last year between a couple minor injuries. But Baltimore is a team, to your point, that really needs to get creative here soon.
Absolutely.
If you look at Henderson, you look at Rutschman, you look at Holiday, who's going to win Rookie of the Year either this year or next year. Their young pitching is incredible. Solid bullpen. Baltimore's really good. And the way that they're doing it is so different than the rest of the American League East, which is just a testament to how important it is to get bad ownership out.
Yeah. Well, and bad general managers and leadership just all together. And what Austin means, just for more context, is you see the Blue Jays trying to spend money, right? They were in the Shohei sweepstakes. You see the Yankees, we know how they operate in free agency. Well, this is really the first big trade that the Orioles have made in the last couple of seasons. They've drafted and developed everybody else. And guess what? They have a top 10 farm system in baseball still. So even if they were to lose one or somebody gets away, okay, we'll just replenish.
Yeah.
Right.
Kind of Braves-ish.
And it's like, we can sit here and maybe folks, just a reminder, you can't trade major league draft picks. You can't trade
not
them.
in baseball.
You get compensated picks and things like that, but it's not like they're a top 10 pick.
The way it works is every team, like Nick is saying, has all their picks. And then if you extend a qualifying offer to a player and he doesn't accept it, you get a compensatory pick at the end of the first round. You also have like the revenue sharing.
Yep.
And that's only a few teams that get to dabble into that, just based off of how the revenue sharing works, about the big market versus small market teams are.
So that's what's crazy about this, though, the way the Orioles have operated. And this is the last thing before we get to break. The Orioles have operated is because they've had to draft extremely well, and they've had an extremely high hit rate on their draft picks, because it's not like they've been able to trade away assets and load up on first round picks.
Trey Mancini did not bring that much back.
That is not what I mean. And like, there were years, gosh, what was it, like just 5 or 6 years ago that they signed Chris Davis to the incredible contract that he then was just
for him to go over 68.
Yeah. It's just, it's fascinating to see how unique teams can be when not only building up their organizations, but also the championship window discussion with Major League Baseball. We're just a couple months away from Major League Baseball and
18
opening
days
day.
away from spring training.
Hello. It's almost here, as obviously there's a couple interesting pieces going forward, but a lot of Major League Baseball talk, I'm sure, coming down the chute here in the next couple of weeks. Nebraska softball, just important to add here really quickly, they start their season this weekend. They start in Puerto Vallarta, Mexico, and I believe, if I remember correctly, they play Washington first. I know they play Washington down there in Mexico at one point, and I'm 99% sure they play Washington the first game of the season.
It's Washington, Duke, the Beach, and Utah Valley.
Okay, there you go. So Washington is the first one. Former Nebraska high school pitcher Ruby Malin is a member of the Washington Huskies down there. So there you go. Nebraska versus Washington coming up February 8th, which would be Thursday. First day for Husker softball. There you go. They leave Wednesday, by the way. I was texting back and forth with Olivia Farrell, who's their their new assistant coach this morning. By the way, I think she might join the show tomorrow, but Olivia was like, yeah, we leave Wednesday morning. And so, you want to talk about that? You show up to Mexico on Wednesday afternoon, and the next day you're on there's no day break or a buffer day in there for Nebraska softball. So, all right, let's go ahead and take a break. When we come back, we'll be joined by Eric Strickland for the crossover as we get you ready for On the Block with Strick and Austin. And we'll do that coming up next on the Happy Hour. Shout out to Empire Fence and Netting for their support. And we'll be right back on 93.7 The Ticket.
Ironhide Construction is hiring. They're looking for hardworking, self-motivated individuals who are team players. Ironhide Construction has openings for an experienced project manager, estimator, apprentice, skilled laborer, and erector or installer. They will train the right people and make sure you understand the position and requirements. At Ironhide Construction, it's own it, be honest, and do it right. Apply today and learn more about their other benefits at ironhideconstruction.com, where they're committed to you every step of the way.
No matter what indoor or outdoor project is on your list, check it off at the Nebraska Builders Home and Garden Show, February 9th through the 11th at Sandhills Global Event Center in Lincoln. Visit with vendors experienced in handling all your dream projects. Spend time viewing displays and exhibits to see the latest in home innovations. Admission is $10 or bring a non-perishable item for the food bank and get a $2 discount. Children 12 and under are free. For more information, visit the Home and Garden Show online at hbal.org.
Have you been accused of a crime? Is your liberty and freedom at stake? At Liberty Law Group, we are committed to defending the liberty and pursuing justice for those accused. Going to court is stressful, overwhelming, and full of uncertainty. At Liberty Law Group, we carry that burden for you. When legal troubles are keeping you up at night, trust Liberty Law Group to fight your battles. Call 877-42-LIBERTY. That's 877-42-LIBERTY.
In a world where quality tools make the dream work, let Sunbelt Rentals be your unseen team member. Shine bright with our top-notch equipment dependable for any project size. Witness the difference with tool rental in Lincoln, Nebraska. It's more than just a tool, it's your companion for the perfect job. With Sunbelt Rentals, you're never alone in your project journey. Brighter tasks, better results. Sunbelt Rentals, tools that empower you.
If you're in Seward or Milford, listen up. Select Plumbing is now servicing your area with no trip charges from Lincoln. Select Plumbing works on a variety of issues for your home and business, including general plumbing, water heaters, faucet and fixture repair, underground sewer and water repairs, backflow testing, and more. Keep your property free from leaks and other issues. Call today for a free estimate, 402-560-6197. It's not just Lincoln, Waverly, and the surrounding area anymore. It's also Seward and Milford with no trip charges. Contact Select Plumbing to inquire at 402-560-6197.
My dream was to work in commercial banking, but it required a college degree and I didn't have one. I found out that Doane had classes for adult learners on the Lincoln campus and online. So I earned my bachelor's degree, and 5 months later, I landed my dream job. I decided to continue my education, and now I'm working on my MBA at Doane. For me, the Doane experience has been life-changing.
Your home is your empire. Protect it with Empire Fence. Get a free instant quote with the online estimating tool at empire-fence.com. See an upfront estimate with no hidden fees. An Empire Fence can provide privacy and improve the appearance of your home. Keep kids and pets in or out of your yard. Increase security and add value to your property. Visit empire-fence.com now to view the stylish and maintenance-free possibilities for your home and get a free instant online quote. Let Empire Fence protect your empire.
Landmark Implement is your local authorized John Deere dealer. Landmark's trained and certified sales staff will help you find the right equipment for your needs at a price that's right for you, all backed by Landmark's extensive parts and service network. Whether it's a tractor, planter, combine, an easy track lawnmower, or gator, every piece of equipment in pre-owned inventory is put through a rigorous inspection so it's ready to work hard for you. Landmark's team works together to make sure everything is sold meets their quality standards. Learn more at landmarkimp.com or stop into a local Landmark location and experience the Landmark difference.
Tune in to the Malone Radio Show from 9 to 10 p.m. every Sunday night to learn more about the Malone Center's goal to eliminate multi-generational poverty in Lincoln. It's the Malone Radio Show every Sunday night from 9 to 10 p.m. on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Houses? They're expensive. And once you buy one, you're kind of stuck with it for a while. You need to make sure you get your best house for the best price. You need Ben Bleicher and his team of pros at Professional Realty Group. They'll take the time to figure out what's important for you in your dream home, and they have the expertise to find the hidden issues that could surprise you after the sale. That's professional knowledge, proactive service. We call that potential. Ben Bleicher and the team at Professional Realty Group of Berkshire Hathaway's Home Service Ambassador. Find more online at prg-ne.com.
Stop asking your friends if they're hosting a party this Sunday and come for the real party instead. Join 93.7 The Ticket for the big game at Wings and Rings at 68th and O this Sunday and walk away with great prizes just for showing up. Why worry about making a great spread of food for the game at your house when you can enjoy all the great wings and more at Wings and Rings? It's the big game party with 93.7 The Ticket at Wings and Rings this Sunday at 68th and O.
Acres is bringing you the nation's largest indoor display of John Deere equipment and technology. Acres 2024 Ag and Turf Expo showcases everything from tillage and planting to application and harvest. We'll also offer the latest industry insights from ag professionals across the state. Join us at the Sandhills Global Event Center March 6th and 7th or Fauner Park March 21st and 22nd. Go to acres.com/expo24 for a complete schedule of speakers and activities.
What a day. I could sure use an afternoon pick-me-up. Hold up. The new 93.7 The Ticket location has a milk, coffee, and tea inside? Oh, yeah. This is a game changer.
Need an afternoon pick-me-up? How about a coffee or smoothie on your way to work? Stop by the Ticket Mill location on 1040 O Street to get your go-to drink or try out our new game day drinks exclusive to the Ticket Mill location. We know it'll make your day a million times better.
You're listening to the Happy Hour with Nick Sainert and Enrique Alvarez Clary.
Look at me. This plane is going to Jamaica.
Sponsored by Empire Fence and Netting on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Welcome back into the Happy Hour, 93.7 The Ticket, theticketfm.com. Nick Sainert, Austin Orman with you, now joined by Stricky. What's up, Stricky?
What it do, Nick?
How we doing?
The Tricky Nicky.
I know. Here we are.
We were the Tricky and Nicky show.
We.
Last week, but we missed Austin. We're glad to have you
For
back,
sure.
man. But yeah, man, I'm doing good. I was a little frustrated. Look, it wasn't a bad frustration last night.
Yeah,
watching the game. I was so remember I wear a lot of different hats. So I wear coaching hat, player hat, referee hat.
Yeah,
I wear a lot of different hats and just spectator, right? So I'm watching the game from my referee hat standpoint, and I don't like to because I know how hard it is to do it. I mean, to be so in tune, locked in. And then you've got all the outside elements, and you've got all the rapport you have to do on court, and then the dealing with the coaches as well, and then the tools you have to use. But watching that stuff, bro, it was so disappointing at all the. And this is the second time, like it felt like everybody is walking to their destinations. You understand what I mean by that? Like it is a travel fest. And these guys, these big referees I'm like, what are you looking at? Like, one guy got a rebound, and I'm telling you, he did the Tampa two-step and the Harlem shuffle before he even got rid of the ball. And I'm like, what are you guys looking at? Like, I'm like, that's what you're supposed to. You go feet, body. You always check the feet.
Yeah,
changing pivot feet and stepping off of jump steps, you can't. That's by rule. Like I'm like, man, it was blowing me away last night. Just a lot of the stuff that I was seeing.
Yeah, it was disappointing. I mean, certainly, I think there were a lot of opportunities we were discussing.
And I'm gonna say both ways.
Yeah, that's exactly.
So I'm
my
not
point.
gonna say it's just a Nebraska
That's exactly
thing.
my point. Is that this is now an issue from a conference standpoint, right? We saw it over the week, or excuse me, was it last week?
Yeah.
Where Purdue shot 46 free throws at home compared to 8 Northwestern free throws.
That's horrible. And the same thing here.
And we saw where Chris Collins goes off on the referees.
Legendary ejection. Legendary.
Love the way Chris Collins got tossed, right? Because he gets tossed and then he goes over, still shakes Matt Painter's hand.
I want to shake his hand.
Yeah, exactly. Shakes Matt Painter's hand, shakes a couple of the players, waves at the crowd, all that stuff, walks off. Those are things also that I think can energize your team for the next couple of games.
Mm-hmm.
We talked about it in the first segment with Brad Underwood. We've seen Fred do it very seldom, right? Fred has this calm demeanor, but he also fights. I mean, he'll throw his hands up in the air. He'll talk. He'll give the official an earload, or an earful. Like
Pause.
at the end of the day, Strick, you couldn't just let it go.
I couldn't let it go.
You couldn't just let it go. But nonetheless,
it drew a smile out of you.
Yeah,
that's what the goal was.
Yeah, I laughed anyway. Fred picks his moments.
Yeah.
But we saw it yesterday with Brad Underwood, where it definitely it energized the team.
Listen, it was a great game. And the thing that I'll just say here on the happy hour is it was impressive. It was a different fight that I saw from Nebraska that on the road before that I hadn't seen. So I was grateful to see that. Now, even, say what you will about it, I think Rink Mash should have been aggressive on that last situation where you had the look, take the shot. You know what I mean? Because it gives you rebound opportunity. It's possibly going to be a long rebound. Take the shot. But it was still a foul. Like, the guy comes in, and if you thought he hit the ball, you're sadly mistaken. Hits him on
forearm.
Like, who's going to hold the ball when you get hit on your forearm and you've got your hand on the ball swinging this way?
The guy coming at you full momentum.
Full momentum, hits your arm. It's the same thing as a fumble. Helmet to ball, in most situations, that ball is coming out. I don't care how strong your grip is. It's the same thing in basketball. Look, I'm not going to say in the moment, in the situation, home game, home team, you're not going to probably get that call.
I'm sitting between the two Eli Rice stands in the building. Does he make a difference last night if he plays?
When you have a disparaging rebound margin,
I'm going to say yes.
I'm going to say yes.
I'm going to say yes. And think about, there were moments, as good as Casey was offensively, right? We're starting to see it more and more regularly where teams go right at Casey. There's multiple guys on Nebraska's roster at times that they go right at him because Nebraska is just a little undersized at some positions. Eli Rice changes that for me, right? Eli Rice is extremely athletic. He's also a little bit bigger. I think also over the last couple of weeks prior to his injury, he's gotten a little more physical. He's understood and he's learning on the fly the toughness that you need to have to play in this conference, or the physicality at least. And he's been able to hold his own a little bit better these last couple of games prior to his injury. Now, what's that to say, when he returns? But I think just his size in general, especially against some of the taller guards, right? Whether it's Terrence Shannon, or why can't I think of the other guy's name?
Dumbass.
No. The 6 foot.
Ty Rogers.
No, the 6'8"
Gary.
guy. Keep him naming.
Oh gosh.
We're down the list.
The number one player on the team that hurt Nebraska.
Terrence Shannon.
Oh, Hawkins?
Hawkins.
Yeah,
Hawkins.
he's 6'10", 6'11".
Not Corbin.
Yeah.
Hawkins.
Yeah, Hawkins.
Yeah, he's like 6'10".
Yes. And so I think, like, even on that matchup, it would have lessened
instead
the
of Alec.
Yeah, it would have lessened the likelihood that maybe he would have been able to beat Nebraska in terms of just athleticism.
Yeah. I could see,
fair.
Coleman?
It is fair.
Coleman Hawkins.
Coleman. I thought Corbin, and I was thinking
Corbin Burns Hawkins.
No, Corbin Hawkins pitched for Nebraska.
Oh, yeah.
Millard West guy. Anyway, go ahead. Sorry.
A couple times when it's crucial, you got into watching matches again and allowed their athleticism to go over you, or to find. It was some offensive rebound stuff that really, I think, pretty much cost them.
Especially in the second half. The first half was fine, but the couple key ones in the second half.
The key ones, yeah. You got to stop and just couldn't secure it.
Strick, as somebody that was playing, how demoralizing is it when you play 30 seconds in this case of really strong defense, force a contested shot, end up forcing a miss, more like 26 seconds of contested defense, and then because either the rebound caroms out to the perimeter and they get an offensive rebound, or there's no foul called on an over the back, or you just, another one of your guys don't box out and get a body on somebody. How demoralizing is it if you have, in this case, 17 offensive rebounds for the Illinois?
Yeah.
Where you have to play another 20 at least seconds of defense.
Yeah.
It
and
just
you can
feels
tell
like
it
wears
hurt.
you down.
Yeah, it does. It can wear you down, and it's a mental, especially on the road too, right?
Yeah.
It's demoralizing for the offensive team if you're consistently securing rebounds and then going down on the other side and executing. High level stuff again. That's the way I sometimes watch this stuff. It was another disappointing factor for me watching, not understanding the scouting report, where you're allowing Domas to go strong right hand, where that's where his strength is. He's a strong, and then you allow Terrence Shannon to go strong left hand. Like, force them to go the other way. But in multiple cases, you let them get to their strength. Same thing when you faced up against
Hawkins,
right? You allowed that half
That
shot
guy's
fake.
name is going to be forever ingrained in our brains.
You
Go
allow
ahead.
that half shot fake to get you every time, and then he's going strong right, and then he's hurting you. Like that was the part I think also that frustrated me some is watching, and I didn't even see a scouting report, and I can tell you what the scouting report was just watching. Right?
Yeah, there's a lot to dissect, a lot more that we didn't even get to here on the happy hour. So make sure you stick around on the block. I'm sure we'll cover it all. What's all coming up on the show, gentlemen?
Heavy basketball, hour one. We'll keep going over the game. A couple interesting other elements I want to throw to Strick. Eric Bieniemy not returning to the Commanders. Is a potential reunion in Kansas City possible? We'll talk about Mahomes, what the Super Bowl would mean for his legacy. And hey, don't forget their signing day on Wednesday.
Yeah.
The actual real signing day. So we'll have Brian Munson on to talk about a couple potential prospects for the Huskers, as well as Tennessee and Virginia suing the NCAA over NIL and how that ties into recruiting.
There you go. There's also one of those prospects, Keona Wilhite, is certainly one to watch going forward ahead of Wednesday. All right.
That name sounds familiar.
All that and more coming up on the block with Strick and Austin. Huge thanks to Austin for sitting in for Rico, who is back tomorrow. We will talk to you on Tuesday.
Go Hog Wild Pit Barbecue.
It's not just the big game everyone looks forward to, it's the food. If you're hosting a super party, let Hog Wild Pit Barbecue do the cooking so you can cheer on your favorite team. Slow smoked ribs, beef brisket, pulled pork, hot links, and so much more. Order online at GoHogWild.com. Hog Wild Pit Barbecue, 3210 Cornhusker Highway in Lincoln.
But don't be late, we close at 8.
93.7 The Ticket, Fox, KFXL weather. Brought to you by Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing.
Your Lincoln forecast for today: patchy fog possible this morning, then mainly sunny this afternoon. We'll see a high near 51. Tonight, partly cloudy, then patchy fog developing late with a low near 32. And tomorrow, more fog in the morning, then mainly sunny in the afternoon. We'll see a high near 57. I'm meteorologist Kyle Clucker from 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Go Hog Wild Pit Barbecue.
It's not just the big game everyone looks forward to, it's the food. If you're hosting a super party, let Hog Wild Pit Barbecue do the cooking so you can cheer on your favorite team. Slow smoked ribs, beef brisket, pulled pork, hot links, and so much more. Order online at GoHogWild.com. Hog Wild Pit Barbecue, 3210 Cornhusker Highway in Lincoln.
But don't be late, we close at 8.
If you're in Seward or Milford, listen up. Select Plumbing is now servicing your area with no trip charges from Lincoln. Select Plumbing works on a variety of issues for your home and business, including general plumbing, water heaters, faucet and fixture repair, underground sewer and water repairs, backflow testing, and more. Keep your property free from leaks and other issues. Call today for a free estimate, 402-560-6197. It's not just Lincoln, Waverly, and the surrounding area anymore. It's also Seward and Milford with no trip charges. Contact Select Plumbing to inquire at 402-560-6197. Golfing in 72 degrees and perfect conditions in Nebraska doesn't seem possible in the winter, but it is. Double Eagle Golf is your escape from the bone-chilling cold outside and a reason to keep your clubs out year-round. Book a bay with some friends for a weekend or come by for golf and happy hour on a weekday. Spring leagues begin in February. Get signed up today. That's all at Double Eagle Golf inside the Kinetic Sports Complex at West O Street. Online at doubleeagle.golf.
Have you been accused of a crime? Is your liberty and freedom at stake? At Liberty Law Group, we are committed to defending the liberty and pursuing justice for those accused. Going to court is stressful, overwhelming, and full of uncertainty. At Liberty Law Group, we carry that burden for you. When legal